The Michigan Wolverines have a long history of producing NFL caliber edge rushers, most notably with the likes of Aiden Hutchinson, Rashawn Gary, and Brandon Graham. Now, John Henry Daly has a chance to be Michigan's next star pass rusher, already coming to the program with legit college production. Daly started his college career at BYU in 2023 before transferring to Utah the following season. While it took some time for him to see the field, Daly burst onto the scene this past year, finishing the 2025 season with 11.5 sacks and 51 pressures in just 11 games. As if that wasn't already impressive, the former Utah star heads into the 2026 season as the highest graded returning edge in college football by Pro Football Focus. Transferring to Michigan gives John Henry Daly a chance to level up his game and help the Wolverines regain some of their lost momentum. So to show you the kind of player he is, we're going to dive into a handful of Daly's games from this past season in today's episode of Best Available. Thank you for watching today's episode. Make sure that you're subscribed on YouTube if you're not already, and give us a follow on socials at BestAvailableYT. As always, a huge thank you to our members who continue to support the channel. For just $2.99 a month, they are getting full access to my 2027 NFL Draft Big Board. We are approaching 60 prospects graded, so be sure to check that out. I'll leave details on becoming a member in the episode description, but let's dive into the John Henry Daly tape, because he's not like a lot of the edges we've watched in this channel specifically. John Henry Daly isn't like a lot of the edges we've talked about in this channel, along with just like, your prototypical edge prospect. He's 6'4", he's sub 240. You can see him right here. He's a little just like a compact, stout rusher. And, from appearances alone, you might not think of much. But after the end of this video, I think you'll have a much better idea of why he's starting to get some hype as, a potential, first-round guy, top 50 guy, tons of college production. You'll see why he was so productive, starting with this game against Texas Tech. We're just going to go here. He's going to go off the snap. He's going to engage here. Bad strike outside by both guys. Like they're both, working outside. Not typically ideal for an edge rusher. But what Daly does a nice job of here is working away off that, because this is just terrible hand placement by the tackle. You can see his hands here and behind the helmet. So Daly's just going to work off of that, and then he's just going to rip under. So get a little extension, his chest away from the arms, and then he's going to do that rip under move, and then he's going to tighten his path to the quarterback. And that's what surprises me. For a guy that just kind of looks like he does, and I know, looks can be deceiving, never, judge a book by its cover. But man, he's got some legit bend to him as well. So you can see rips under here to get disengaged, and just the path that he tightens here. That is a much tighter path than he has any right to be taking, especially after how unclean or dirty that, point of attack is for both parties, both the tackle and John Henry Daly here. But just a great job of knowing, hey, how do I get off this? Let me get a hand in his chest, extend, use the other one to rip under to disengage. And then this path, you can see the angle he's taking, pretty tight angle with those ankles that keeps getting tighter. Just really nice path. Clobbers the quarterback in the process. That's just an outstanding job. We'll talk a lot about Daly's production. Again, 11.5 sacks, 51 pressures, legit pass rusher. But he is a 3-down player. This is a guy that is also effective against the run, even when, he's not being as disciplined off the bat. He's going to get a little deep here on his path as we run this. He's getting, wanting to fly upfield, potentially rush the passer, and then realizes quickly it's a run. Gets put in a bad spot, right? This tackle's trying to wash him down, use his momentum against him. Daly's disciplined here. He gets extended, swims over, works back. Because if he ends up flying up here, suddenly we've got a big alley for this running back. And yes, we have this defender here. But if he whiffs, then, we're taking this to the house most likely. So Daly recognizes that. Instead of flying upfield, he works back and helps get in on the tackle. Let me rewind it so we can watch it again. So just watch, he's initially flying upfield too far, gets extended, swims over, gets back, helps set the edge. That's just a nice job. Yeah, the safety probably fills it, but you can never be too sure, and this is just an example of why you don't want to fly upfield. Good awareness by Daly to not do that. Being an edge defender against the run isn't always sexy. We got Daly right here. Sometimes you just have to dig your feet in, get extended, and then just kind of let the play come to you. This is a good example of that. So as we roll this, he's going to engage with that tackle again. What I love here, wide base. So shoulders aren't all the way square. I'd like them a little more square, but he works on that here in a second. Wide base, get extended and keep your outside shoulder free. Because as an edge setter, what we want is we want to funnel the running back this way. Because if he cuts back here, we've got all of these teammates, safety, everyone to pursue. The second we try to cheat inside and he bounces out, suddenly the entire defense is in pursuit. We don't want that. So not only is he doing a good job of keeping that outside shoulder clean, he's getting extended so that if the ball carrier does come to him, which is exactly what happens here, he can just meet the ball carrier. The rest of the team can get their big stop. And this isn't the sexiest play, but this is so foundational to what a team is trying to do when it's stopping the run. Like this is good discipline, good effort. The anchor is pretty impressive too. Again, he's a sub 250 edge. Does a nice job here of just really holding that point of attack until the running back comes there, and the rest of the defense meets him. This is why the play happens, because he's just setting the edge. You don't get as much production as Daly had last season by being like a one-note pass rusher. Daly's got a true bag at his disposal. You saw the big hit in the first play where he's ripping under using the bend. He's got some hand usage. He can convert speed to power, but he also it just kind of surprised me. He has a counter spin to him where he keeps working outside all day, bending around the edge, running through you. That you start oversetting this way as an offensive lineman. And the second that, Daly starts to feel that or feels your shoulders turning, as a tackle, you want to keep your shoulders square to the line of scrimmage until, the last second, then turn them. So now shoulders are getting angled. This tackle is lunging with his hands. As soon as Daly feels that, counter off of it, spin inside, work to the quarterback. Now, great, freaking phenomenal throw by the quarterback to complete that under duress. But, we're not worried about results. We're worried about process for the sake of this channel. And doesn't get much better than this. And we'll watch a couple more counter spins throughout this video, because I just love the way he sets them up throughout a game. It's not like something he spams and tries to run constantly. It's waiting until you can see it. All of this tackle's weight is going this way. He's overloaded on this foot. He's lunging too early. All of that is the key for Daly. Like, all right, perfect. Then I'll spin inside. It's just... those are some of my favorite edge rushers, or guys that have moves like this, but they also know when to use them, and this is a great example of that. We got some more edge setting from Daly right here, pretty similar to that one we talked about. Get a wide base, get extended, keep that outside shoulder clean. All of that's great, but that's not why I'm showing this play. It's right here at the point of contact. So many kids, when we're trying to coach them at the high school level to tackle, want to fall to their knees and fall over, like try and wrap up, or then dive. Like, it's not proper tackling technique. I want to show every single kid this play, because watch what happens as soon as he wraps up. Look at him drive his freaking feet through that. I can't tell you how important that is. I can't tell you enough how important that is. Like, just make sure he's to the ground. Don't just lean on him or throw a shoulder in him. You see that at the NFL level still. You'll see DBs just throw a shoulder into a guy and then a running back bounce off them. This is proper tackling technique, man. To just finish that play by just driving your legs like a madman. It's so nerdy. I understand that not everyone's going to care about this, but dude, I care deeply about this. This is exactly how I want to watch guys finish a tackle. Moving on to the Arizona State game, and I'm going to tell you right now, this left tackle got his ass kicked, just kind of the whole game. I feel bad for him, especially when you consider you have a first-round tackle on the other side in Maxi Hanachor, but it was just not a good day for this left tackle. And give me a great example right here. We got Daly over on him. We're going to see another one of those counter spin moves. And just look at how he reacts. So we're trying to close this angle from Daly. And then, I don't know if he's crossing over his narrow base. He's lunging. Like, this just looks ugly from this tackle. And you can see the moment, he plants this foot, Daly does, just going to flash inside, get a, clean path. Maybe he gets hooked a little bit. They're never going to call it. Another quarterback managing to still get a completion out of it, but it is a legit pressure from Daly, and we'll watch it again. Just understands what this tackle's trying to do. The tackle gets overextended, almost crosses his feet, but just lunges over, and that's when Daly knows how to strike. I just love how quickly he can, work that spin move. For a guy as stocky as he is, he can really, great burst off the snap as well, give him that momentum, and then just the be able to plant that foot and spin out of it. Is a really fun trait to watch. I know so many pass rushers, especially like myself. I grew up on Dwight Freeney. It's not really an effective move for everyone, but the guys that can do it and know when to use it, man, they can be really fun. I'm gonna show a limitation of Henry Daly's or John Henry Daly's. I think Daly's his last name. Having three names messes me up, but regardless, I am gonna show one play to just show one thing. I think it's a little bit limited. I think he's a little limited laterally, and I don't think it's that bad. But I think that combined with him not being the biggest or longest edge can hurt him in situations like this, where we're gonna have him as the unblocked defender on a read option, right? We're trying to read if he's overcommitting inside, and if he does, the quarterback's going to keep it. If he stays square, we're going to hand it off to the running back. And in this situation, Daly's doing everything right. Shoulders are square. He's kind of shuffling down the line to read it and then going to react. The problem is here, even though he's doing everything coaching-wise you're supposed to, not over pursue, shoulders square, he's just a little limited right here. As soon as he realizes the quarterback keeps the ball, just watch. He doesn't have the length or the lateral movement to quickly recover from this, and then suddenly we're in a foot race. And because he stays disciplined in it, this play is not the end of the world. And so I want to emphasize that it's not like, oh my gosh, he botched this so horribly. He's the reason they let up a massive, massive play. No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is this is a good example. Just see some of his limitations as a player. And, I need to do a better job on a lot of these videos of highlighting some of that when I see it. So I apologize. I'm not trying to single out Daly specifically, but it is one I thought was a really good example of this, and also an understanding of how, you're supposed to defend the read option as an edge defender, because he does that. It's just when you're not, the most laterally fluid and don't have crazy length to just engulf ball carriers from awkward angles, it can kind of look like this. We got Daly here on the right side of the screen this time against, again, that left tackle just having a bad day. We've been, outside of that spin move this whole game, he's been working outside or trying to go through the tackle. This time he's going to flash inside, and it's really going to throw off this tackle as we roll this. So he's so worried about getting out, tightening that angle or cutting off that angle for Daly. So all this guy's momentum, this tackle is trying to take it to cut off that angle. And as soon as Daly feels that, he goes, perfect, I'll just go inside. You overset too far out. And then he just gets, unimpeded pressure to the quarterback, ends up getting their team sack because of it. And I just enjoy that Daly has, a plan after the snap. He's not always trying to be, so one-minded. It's like, all right, I know what I'm going to do before the play is snapped and do that. He's just reacting to what the tackle is giving him. And this is a good example of that. Just because of that jump set, he's not even jabbing inside. It's just that he's reacting quickly enough to get inside, which, hey man, that works too. It doesn't have to be this flashy play every time. Sometimes it can just be as simple as this, just reacting and going inside and getting free because of it. This is just some of that burst and bend we're going to see from Daly again, how quickly he can get off the snap. He's loaded up. He's going. This tackle is still completely in his stance as we're, getting out of ours. And then he's just going to, rip under again, try and avoid and keep his chest clean. So he's going to use that forearm to get those hands off of him, which he does a good job of. You can see those hands starting to rise away from his chest plate. And so this guy's got to try and reattach. So he's trying to reattach. He's so focused on that, he's not worried about, continuing to gain depth. He's now just turning his shoulders instead of continuing to gain depth in his pass set. That hurts. And then just nice dip and bend from Daly around the edge. Gets a hand on the quarterback, and eventually that leads to the sack. That's just great effort there. And again, he doesn't look like it sometimes, but the angles and paths he can take for a stockier guy like that you can see that dip. It's a split second after he disengages, but you can see him dip underneath that block to tighten that path onto the way to the quarterback. It's right here. Just he ducks that head a little bit to tighten his path, get a little bit lower. He's got some real ankle flexibility, which is funny because we talked about the lateral limitations on that read option, but he can still bend quite well. Daly, man, he can just consistently generate quick pressures. Again, another one off a spin move. I'm wondering if he's reading this tackle stance. I did not pay attention to this when putting this together. But that is an awfully wide foot right there. I'm wondering if he's thinking, all right, because of the way he's stanced, if he's trying to, get wide out here, because he's throwing another spin move here. You're going to see as soon as we snap this ball. Look at how focused and wide this tackle is getting. He's so worried about that angle. And he's just widening that jump set to try and catch him off balance. Daly feels that and just, again, works off of it. He's too wide. He's lunging on his strike. So Daly's like, thank you very much. I'll spin, get a hit on the quarterback. Ends up being an incompletion because of it. It impacts the quarterback's accuracy. Finally, we've seen quarterbacks complete off these spin moves already, which is funny, but it's just, I love a pass rusher that has a plan of attack, but he's processing the plan of the attack as the tackle is making their move. That's way too wide, lungy for a tackle. That's just not good ball from that offensive lineman. And then Daly responds accordingly. He can really get out of that spin move, man. It's pretty impressive. So Daly's going to face a puller across the formation here, and what you were taught as an edge, we can call it wrong arming and try and get inside of that puller, but really ultimately what you want to do, you want to punish that puller, because the last thing you want is this guy's coming downhill, is you don't want to get washed out this way, because a puller here is just going to create a dangerous gap in this play. What you want to do is exactly what Daly does. And maybe I'd nitpick like, hey, get a little lower here, but at least throw your freaking face into that puller. Because that's exactly what he does. We're designed, the track is supposed to be here, right? By throwing his face, look at how much, again, supposed to be right here. Look how much thinner that track is, because he's just launching himself into the puller, makes the tackle, rest of the team gets there. Oh my gosh, phenomenal football. Too many edges I watch are so passive taking on a puller across the formation, and it leads to big running plays, and that's why teams like to run gap scheme, is they want to catch you off guard, get you washed out, and create easy rushing lanes for our running backs. And Daly says, no thank you, I will just ruin this entire play by myself by just launching himself to the point this dude's on the ground. I'm not joking. I could watch this play like 50 times. Just watch him react, throw his face. This dude, this tackle is like completely off the ground because of it. And then he's meeting the ball carrier. Dude, like he's got some, everyone's going to talk about the production. Like, wow, Michigan got a guy with an 11.5 sacks. But when you also have a guy that does this in the run game, you're dealing with a true 3-down player. I love it, man. I love it so much. Last one of the day for you. Just another example of that bend and active hand usage from Daly, number 90 here. This time on a guard. He's going to, engage with this blocker, throw off the hands, rip under again. And then this is a tough angle. All of his momentum's carrying him pretty much straight downfield. Watch him just, I don't know how he tightens the path that sharply for a denser edge, I guess I could say. That is awfully impressive. Guys should not be able to bend this way, man. I love how tight he can, take those paths and get quick pressures, but also disengage. Like, this is just another, he's got such a bag and a lot of tools in his arsenal to get after the quarterback, and it's why he was so productive as a pass rusher. A bit different of a guy than Dylan Stewart or Quincy Rhodes or some of the other guys we've watched for this channel, Clev Lubin, but I hope you get a better appreciation for why Michigan fans are so excited about John Henry Daly. This is going to be a 3-down player for them, and I think, especially in the Big Ten, where offenses can vary so much from spreading it out to being smash mouth, I think he's going to be effective regardless of the opponent, and I am really excited to see how he works in the context of this Michigan defense. So that'll do it for today's episode. I know it's technically safeties week. We will be back with Evan Williams or Javon Bullard episode on Wednesday for our Packers-specific positional preview. Not sure who I'm going to watch yet. I might need some coaxing in the comments, but let me know also in the comments what you thought about John Henry Daly, and we'll be back with 2 more videos this week. Potentially one, barring an update. I don't want to spoil anything, but we might have some very exciting news in the future. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.